Hello everyone, and thank you for coming back to yet another episode of The Glove and Paradigm. I am your host, Peter aka LPD8 Dubuque. And this week, you guys should probably see what's happening this week because we've hit a certain milestone. Yes, that is 100 episodes. Yes, I finally hit 100 episodes. Yay! Okay, sorry about that. I didn't think that was going to be as crazy as it got.
What is wrong with you?
But yes, I finally hit my milestone. I finally hit triple digits when it finally comes to this particular project. I'm extremely excited to see where this has gone. I'm excited to see where this is going to go. There's so many things to talk about.
What a time to be alive.
So, why am I celebrating this wonderful milestone? First of all, before I hit my over 2-year mark. So, I have been doing this podcast for over 2 years now. And it has not shown so much, rewards. But
Which part of that is supposed to shock me?
it's totally fine. I'm okay with that. So, one of the things I definitely want to say, when it came to this particular podcast, that I never really thought it was going to get to where it is now. Nor did I think it was going to be anywhere near where it is today. So, it kind of tells you the amount of faith I had in myself at the very, very beginning, didn't it? So, let's just enjoy this celebration, enjoy our time that we have now shared together for over 2 years now. If you start watching my podcast / listening to my podcast since the beginning, then you know that you guys have been doing this for over 2 years now.
What?
Oh.
Surprise, surprise. Isn't it kind of crazy how 2 years can already go by? It's interesting.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
So, where are the points of the good? I'm very glad you guys asked, because one thing that I'll definitely say is I made a load of content. I made a crap load of content, okay? Literally 100 episodes worth of content. Most of them are anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes.
We know.
Sometimes a couple of them are about an hour long. There are hours upon hours of content that I have now. It is literally everywhere.
Are you sure about that?
So I'm really excited that I've actually was able to make 100 episodes of content. Some of them I might have to sit here and say that probably weren't the best episodes, but everything's a learning experience.
Yeah, that doesn't really describe it. You're more of a fun vampire because you don't suck blood. You just suck.
But I would certainly say I did try different styles of content. I experimented to see what has worked, what hasn't worked. So far, some things don't really like to work, and some things I feel people are asking for, but when I go to post about it, no one sees it for some reason.
Nothing you do matters. Your existence is a lie.
And one other thing I definitely would like to say is I'm actually glad that I started as many of the miniseries that I have in my show that I did. Because it allows me to continue to work on these particular topics, whether it's the concept catalog, the archetypes of gloving. I know I need to work on storytelling, which I'm getting there. Trust me, I'm getting there.
5 minutes later.
But I have all these different little mini-series that we can work with, and I'm really excited to see those expand even more. I would certainly say, like, the archetypes of gloving one is one of my personal favorite ones. Concept catalog is pretty much right underneath that. And it's because what these series really represent and what they offer to the community is something that I'm really, really happy about, because that's what I want for the community, is they have these things such as like different styles of gloving that they can choose from. They have different concepts that they can choose from. You have all these different things, and it makes me very, very excited to see that. So, since we got the good out of the way, let's talk about some of the bad, because I've been a bad boy and don't really know what he's doing half the time, because that's what I'm like to do, because I tend to do this with, running around with my head chopped off. Anyways, alright, so yeah, first thing I'll definitely say that I wish I did more during the first 100 episodes is more interviews. I can only recall actually one interview during the full first 100 episodes I did, and I kind of feel stupid that I haven't done enough. I'm not going to sit here and try to chalk it up to you guys and be like, oh, I deal with social anxiety disorder. Which, yes, I do deal with social anxiety, but
Who cares?
I'll certainly say once I actually kind of break out of that shell or out of that slump, it's not really that hard for me to actually have a conversation with most people. So I'm hoping to fix that problem. And that's my own personal problem. It's not anyone else's problem. It's not like I'm expecting the community to be like running up to my front door wanting to get an interview from me, you know, as much as I would like that. It would be great, but
Why would you do that?
you know, that's magical Christmas land, and that's not what this is, so.
My emotions! My emotions!
The only other thing I will really have to say, well, there's two other things I really have to say in terms of the bad, but when it came to implementing the video aspect for this podcast, yeah, I was very nervous of doing that. One, because I thought doing video was going to take extra amount of time to actually come up with the episodes and do so. But trust, I've learned that's not necessarily the case. Now, I would certainly say during my short period of time of working with video editing software and just working with video equipment and things of that nature, there is a lot more that goes into it. And there is a lot more thought that I have to put into my episodes, because now since I have, you know, visual aspects that I can utilize for my show, I have to really work on what I am working, or actually consciously think about what I can do with what I am capable of doing with video to really just make good content, you know?
Nope, stop talking, go to jail.
I certainly hope that I have been making good content, especially with now implementing the video. And yes, I know most people are probably wondering, like, why does his video quality look the way it does? Yes, I'm using my cell phone. I'm using it, connecting it through a virtual client that allows me to post it onto my computer screen. Yes, I am PC recording my computer screen, which is recording me through my phone. Yes, it is a janky setup as hell. So, do kind of regret not moving forward with video aspects sooner, because I feel like if I did, I'd probably be a lot farther than I am now. But, you know, we're human beings and this is how sometimes we learn, so.
Hey, what does it matter? You know, we're both just humans trying to make our way through this crazy world. You're the worst.
The other thing I also want to say that I feel is bad is that I implemented a Patreon and it didn't go anywhere. It still hasn't gone anywhere.
Please don't.
But it's okay. I understand a lot of the things that I need to understand. First things first, I understand. I have no marketing skills whatsoever, especially when it comes to marketing. I just don't.
What?
Knew it.
Stop letting him make you realize stuff.
I know I have plans to roll out new rewards and new structures for my Patreon, which is something I am going to be working on. I just need to finally roll it out and get it done without wasting my time being so nervous about it. But yes, I am going to be working on getting my Patreon up and running, be a little bit more active and a little bit more engaging, so people who are actually interested in supporting me will actually have really good benefits for supporting me and not just pretty name on and credits type deal and behind the scene content.
Bless you.
So, what are the lessons that I have learned throughout this experience? Through the 2 years of doing this, one thing I'll definitely say is learning video production has been a very interesting journey. It's just because it's the first time I actually decided to record myself in front of the camera and getting used to actually recording in front of the camera. And also having to take into account that, yes, since I also have an audio portion of the podcast, I gotta make sure that I'm being as descriptive as possible so the people who are not watching the YouTube video at least understand what I'm saying with the descriptors that I use.
Much later.
It is crazy to sit here and think that why on earth would I do that if I have the video portion? It's because I'm still considerate of my listeners who don't watch the videos. And that's totally fine. If they watch the videos too, that's totally cool too. I appreciate that you still listen to the audio podcast. Yeah, that keeps that portion going.
You're both just awful.
So, the other thing I'll definitely say is, yes, I've had plenty of discussions with other members of the community, but community engagement is something I definitely need to work on more, just in general. And it's not necessarily like the community hates me, at least I don't think they do. I hope to God they don't. That they don't hate me, you know, it's just, that's kind of my thing.
That was so terrible, I think you gave me cancer.
Anyways, yeah, so trying to engage with the community more has been somewhat challenging. I think what it is kind of goes it's not necessarily like it goes deeper as in terms of a problem. I just think what has been done in the past is no longer working, and trying out new things have been somewhat trying because people don't like trying out new things and so on and so forth. Therefore, you know, I could be throwing myself out into the middle of deep water and then nothing happening, or I throw myself out into deep water and I'm eaten by sharks. Who knows?
Whatever you say, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't know why I just said that. Doesn't make a lot of sense, but gotta stand by it.
It's one of those risks that I'm willing to take. We'll just see how that works out for me.
Welcome to my life.
And of course, my last lesson that I've learned throughout this whole experience is that if you're going to start a Patreon, you better fucking commit to this thing, because man, there's so much more stuff that goes on when it comes to just promotions and things like that, that somebody who has literally no idea how to do promotions properly is literally, you know, just sitting there twiddling their fingers around trying to figure it out. Will I figure it out? Maybe. Will I hire somebody down the road to probably deal with all my marketing stuff? Maybe. It's all possible. I would certainly hope so. I would like to have something like that so I can, you know, have a little bit more time freed up for myself to actually worry about other things like the content that I make, and not worry about making the content and editing the content and then producing the content and then managing all the content and all that stuff. It just, there's a lot that goes into it, you guys. I'm telling you, there's a lot.
It's funny because it's true.
Yes, and I now know a lot of people are like, well, but Peter, you have been doing this for over 2 years now. You should have gotten used to this. Yes, that is true. Here's the thing though, I have over nearly 2 years of experience when it came to just audio editing. I didn't do any video editing, so that's been the biggest transition in the recent times, is me implementing video. And yes, I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, it's kind of silly that you took so long to do so. Yes, I know it's silly that it took me so long to implement video. One of the lessons that I've learned. So that's pretty much the idea. Now, what is the plan? What is it that we're going to do going forward from this point? Well, first things first, I'm going to try to make better content. I'm going to try to, you know, make these videos a lot more engaging, because at first, when I first started doing these videos, people told me that what kept them engaged was the memes that I was putting in, which told me that I wasn't engaging enough, so gotta figure out how to do that. I try to be as funny and comical as possible on camera, and it might not come out as good as I think it does, and a lot of times I feel like I'm just making a fool of myself, which is a typical thing for me to do. But yeah, I'm going to try to make better content. I'm going to try to see what engages with the community more. The only thing I have to ask is the community tells me what it is that they're looking for, what they would like to see. I would like to hear that kind of feedback. Again, I cannot read your minds, therefore I cannot know what you want. I need you to vocalize that to me. You don't even have to tell me on a comment. You can send me an email where no one will ever see it, and it'll just be a conversation between you and me. If that's what you want to do, that's totally fine. Here's my email right here. Just email me your questions and comments and feedback. That way no one else has to see it. You don't have to be so public about your opinions on it. I'm just saying, you know, just
No, I don't really feel like it.
So, what's the other plan that I have going for myself? Is, again, like I said, I'm going to do better with my Patreon. I'm going to try to make it more engaging. I'm going to try to do what I can to bring more people into it and try to get people to be more willing to support me and not just it being there. So I will let you guys know when I roll that out. I am also thinking of how I want to do my Patreon video, because if I have a Patreon video for Patreon, so when people see my Patreon, they have a video to watch and they can just do that. I'm still working on the idea of how I want to go about making that video. There's a lot of ideas I can work with. So we're going to see how that goes. If you have any ideas or any suggestions, let me know. That'll be great to hear. And of course, I will certainly say, like I said, I regretted from the past 100 episodes, I'm going to try to correct in the next 100 episodes. Let's get more interviews in here. Yes, I've already got an interview with another member of the community who is doing something that I feel like not a lot of people are doing. And I feel like what this person is doing is a precursor to what I feel could be the renaissance of gloving.
Why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
You're just going to have to wait to hear when that video comes out, because I already got that interview taken care of. I just need to do the editing stuff, and that will come out next episode, so keep tuned to that.
No.
So I understand when it comes to certain topic matters and things like that, I just need to improve on what I talk about and how I go about it.
Okay.
The other thing I will certainly say that when it comes to my plan moving forward is I do plan on working on improving my equipment. Whether that is simply just upgrading it or just doing some maintenance to it to make it improve better. The reason being is because I've heard a lot of feedback from some people, actually quite a few people, about doing certain things like streaming and a lot of that kind of stuff. Okay, and I'm all for it. I like the idea of me streaming. Do I think streaming is going to work for me? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of like doing this style of just making content. I don't know if streaming is going to work for me, but I am not unwilling to try it out. I will certainly say this though. If I'm going to implement streaming, I would rather have enough vocal backing from the community asking for it before I actually implement it. I don't want to try to implement something that I literally have no backing and no like community requests. So I've only had a couple of people, like 3 or 4 people have asked so far. Is that enough? No, I always say get a little bit closer to 10 and it's gonna be like the amount that'll be like, okay, yeah, alright, I will consider this. I know there are different ways of implementing ideas to get more people engaged in, and those are avenues that I'm exploring. But I will certainly say at the end of this episode, I'm just gonna leave it to you guys. If you guys have any feedback or anything you guys want to let me know about, that one could either help me make better content or B, just ideas of like whatever you think would help make this better. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts and opinions on it. But yeah, I think that's pretty much what it's all going to cover. Yes, I am going to be working on getting like, I'm not going to get like professional cameras, but I am going to be working on getting equipment for video recordings while also getting a good, better camera than my phone, even though my phone's doing a really good job of what it does. I'm hoping that with the strides that I make going forward, that things just keep improving and keep getting better and things just start to get better from there. Only time will tell if that's going to be successful. You know, I can't sit here and try to guarantee the things, and yes, I know people can sit here and bring up statistical data that will help me, you know, prove that these things do work, but at the end of the day, it's all about trial and error. So I hope that's how it's going to be for me, and I hope that with my trial and error that things just get better.
This is why I choose to get C's.
But yeah, that's all for my episode. I think that's pretty much all I need to cover. I certainly hope that you guys do enjoy the content that I make. If you have any questions that were not covered in this episode or any of the other episodes in the past 100 episodes that I made, you have the various outlets you can hit me up at. You can hit me up on my Facebook. You can hit me up on my Instagram. You can even leave a comment on my YouTube channel. Like, it's right here. Like, all these things are at your disposal, and it's all absolutely for free.
Stop it. Get some help.
But you have those various places you can hit me up at. You can even hit me up on Discord. You can even shoot me an email. You can do all those things. I have various places you can hit me at. I'm very responsive. I try to communicate as much as I possibly can. Of course, like I said in early parts of this episode, but I'm going to plug it here now. If you like the content that I make and you wish to help me make better content, please consider supporting me on Patreon, as well as $1 a month as you join being a month. Will get me one step closer to my first goal, which is me doing this full time. I did it again, and I'm even holding it in my hand.
Oh my god! You're so weird! Alright, I'll make you a clone, buddy.
But yes, I think that pretty much covers everything. You know, I will certainly say that I appreciate everyone who has shown and vocalized their feedback to me. I do appreciate everybody's efforts of trying to help me create better content and pushing me forward. But please do understand that when it comes to implementing these new ideas, these aren't things I can roll out the next day. Okay? Please understand, I do have some obligations that are outside of this sphere, outside of me making content, that I do have to abide to. I do have those obligations. There's a reason why they're called obligations. So please do understand, to the people who have been giving me feedback and saying that you can just roll this out right now. Yes, I understand that. However, you need to keep in mind that I do have certain restraints. And yes, as much as I would love to just sit here and dump a crap load of capital into this and just dump everything I can into this, can't do that in good conscience without literally sending me into bankruptcy. So please keep that in mind. That's the reason why there's a Patreon. So you guys can help me so I don't have to worry about, you know, losing the roof over my head trying to make this podcast work. Okay.
Many months later.
I understand where you come from. I understand the passion that you have is the same amount as me, and I highly, highly appreciate it. But please keep in mind, things have to move at a certain pace. Okay? I certainly hope that clears things up for a lot of people. Alright. So, I hope you guys tune into the next episode. It's going to be the first episode of the new part of this part of the Catcast. Now we're going into the triple digits, so tune into the next episode, because that's the first episode that is an interview that is going to be like rolling up the new changes. So we're going to start rolling them out immediately, so we'll get there. But yes, that's pretty much all for my episode. I have rambled on for way too long. I know I'm going to cut a crap load of this stuff out of it, but it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching / listening. If it wasn't for you guys doing what you guys do with your silent moral support, I don't think this show has gone as far as it can. But it's going to keep going, even with or without your help. So, thank you guys so much. I absolutely love you guys, but I am your host, Peter, aka LPD8 Dubuque, and I'll see you guys all next week.